Forgive me, Lord, for I have been unforgivable. It's not true that I illumine myself. You illumine me. I keep praying for you to make something happen. So why this awful crawling feeling that nothing ever does? There's a new poem now.
La possibilità di sperimentare su un racconto così lungo mi incuriosiva molto. Che una serie potesse essere una specie di figlio bello di letteratura e cinema, dove ti potevi prendere la libertà appunto dei tempi di racconto lunghi che sono tipici del romanzo e che al cinema spesso sono destinati ad essere sacrificati.
Rolling, rolling, motore!
From now on, you are no longer Lenny Belardo, the fatherless, motherless boy. From now on, you are Pope Pius XIII.
The young Pope is ultimately, in my opinion, about faith and doubt. I'm a contradiction, like God.
Although it's fictional, the series takes place today. It deals with very sophisticated and complex issues.
What we have in mind when we think about Vatican and papacy is not about modernity and youth. And the arrival of Lenny is quite a revolution in this old institution.
The one thing people obviously always want to ask about this part is, oh, you're playing a pope, what's the pope like? And in fact, what I've realized is I'm playing an orphan, not a pope.
I know all your sorrows. I've lived with them together with you. I've wept over them with you. But now the time has come for you to let your sorrows fade.
La solitudine è uno dei temi inevitabili di questo racconto.
It raises the question, maybe we're all lonely because what we all desire is someone to understand us, someone to know us and guide us, and Lenny's waiting for that, but ultimately finds the answers inside himself.
Usted ha cambiado mucho desde que comenzó su papado.
La aflicción nos cambia, Aguirre.
Che è anche il motivo per cui il Vaticano, per quanto piccolo, può essere un luogo estremamente pericoloso, perché essendo un luogo condotto da un unico uomo, può essere molto pericoloso come si mescola la vita privata, i traumi e come questi possono ricadere su coloro che ci credono.
You presume that your needs are the same as those of 1 billion other Catholics.
Cut out the dime store psychoanalysis and work with me.
I don't work with 9-year-old boys.
Paolo Sorrentino is not just a film director, but also, as we would say in Europe, an author.
Dude, I was thinking this. Can I show you?
I'm so tired.
And what's wonderful about working with Paolo is that you're in the hands of someone who clearly knows what he wants to create. There's always something poetic and impressionistic about his work.
He's very much interested in the montage, in the abstraction that exists in the image, rather than its reality. And as an actor, what you have to do then is you have to support somebody's vision.
We can feel in Paolo his great love for actors, and from the moment he has chosen us, we feel invested in a very strong artistic mission. And so he directs us in a very subtle and very intelligent way.
To me, it was like a dream come true. I was a great admirer of his work. I must say I became quite ecstatic when I found out I got the part.
Good action.
What made me really want to do it was all the work I'd seen of Paolo's. I was in before I really opened the script, if I'm honest with you.
Holy Father, The papal tiara has arrived from Washington. It's in perfect condition.
Prepare the Sistine Chapel.
One of the challenge that this Pope gave to us is that he is so conservative that he wanted to go back to the origins of the papacy and how the Pope is dressed and looks.
You go to the Vatican Museum and you can see real stuff. You can see the real costumes that they were wearing from the 11th century. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Basically, Poggioli, our costume designer, he had to replicate the most gigantic and impressive wardrobe of the papacy.
We had to make many things, including, for example, till the jewelry, the shoes, the cross that the cardinal are wearing, because we had to give an impression to the audience that is something that we have never seen so precisely.
And that has been a challenge not only for him, but I would say also for Jude, because he had to look very proud and not exhausted by it.
I understand why popes walk like this, because the weight of some of that stuff is extraordinarily heavy. Again, it kind of all helps because, you know, it's kind of great to imagine Lenny choosing this stuff and thinking, okay, how long have I got to wear it for? As long as it looks good, I'll suffer.
No, ci sono sicuramente c'è sicuramente una mia predilezione per questi luoghi fatati e incantati che si nascondono dietro i divieti di sosta nella città di Roma, per cui è sufficiente varcare un portone ed entrare in un mondo dove la parola che viene più spontanea è la beatitudine.
Rome is so rich. Rome is amazing to shoot a TV series here.
I've had a great little tour of Rome just by coming to set every day.
On the one hand, we've had the key to some very special palazzos and gardens. And then on the other hand, they've been able to recreate the specific rooms in the Vatican.
One rule that the real Vatican has is that no film, no fiction, no series can be shot inside the Vatican. So from the beginning, we understood that we had to reconstruct and replicate or also invent the Vatican. We had to rebuild things like the Sistine Chapel.
We weren't really allowed to take measurements or anything, so it was a very long period of time in order to redesign it as it is without having a real reference. The whole work was done in 3 months, more or less. At the end, we decided to rebuild the Sistine Chapel in its real scale. The real important choice was the material, on which we printed out certain photographies that we had from the Vatican and that we repainted on.
One of the cardinals that I was sitting next to, and when I pointed out the floor to him, he said, "È uguale," meaning it's exactly the same.
The curator or the person who takes care of the Sistine came to see the set and he was just gobsmacked. Because of course there's not only the look, there's a presence.
Con Ludovica abbiamo ormai un rapporto consolidato e devo dire che facendo io uso di pochissime luci e usando moltissimo le luci naturali, quindi le finestre, ma ovviamente anche le lampadine, i lampadari. Potrei dire che Ludovica Ferrari ha fatto il 50% del lavoro fotografico, nel senso che la scelta delle lampade di scena è per me determinante.
The challenge of finding little churches which are not of the state of the Vatican. It was very important for sound, but even for the smell, for the actor to feel that he was in a church.
And so being in those environments, recreated, being in those clothes was not only accurate, it was also incredibly helpful from an acting point of view to understand the theatre within the church.
uno dei filoni principali del racconto di questa serie è proprio legato al fatto che il porsi continuamente domande alte, domande su Dio, domande sulla fede.
I think it's really interesting to create something and to winnow out, well, what do I believe?
One does not need to know anything about Catholicism because it's not a story about religion, actually. It's more a story about humanity. It's contradictions, it's inner crisis, it's faith and despair. So I think everybody can identify with that.
What I loved when I read this is, as with so many of Paolo's other works, it's a fantastic combination of drama with a beautiful wit, with sensual imagery. Any good drama's like that, and this one has it in spades.
Cut!